Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Gamma Cosmic Show. The Inhumans was finally released to the IMAX theaters. And I hate to be the one who said, I told you so, but I told you so, man. I knew Marvel Studios has been getting cheap for a long time. When I seen them release Ant-Man, I knew they were going to try to grab some of those characters who don't take a lot to make and hope that we make a big profit off it, because there's so many followers, loyalists to our brand, that they're gonna go see every movie that we put out. And I felt that way ever since I seen Ant-Man drop, that Marvel Studios and Disney were trying to maximize their profits while producing movies and TV shows more cheaply. And it showed in the ABC Inhumans. The number one gripe people are saying is that it looks cheap. Number two, the storyline is god-awful. Number three, the character development. They said the acting was pretty bad on everybody's part. They said some actors tried to work with what they already had, but it was hard with that script. They said the script didn't even make sense. It wasn't coherent. It wasn't flowing together. And this is probably something that might get, honestly, I already predicted this already, guys, about this might not even make it to a full season. You'll probably get 3 to 4 episodes at its regular time slot. Then they're going to try to move it around and hope that that catches some new fans or old fans who might want to give it a shot, and hope that they come back and maybe that time slot works for them. But after 3 or 4 episodes are still probably seeing declining numbers, they're probably going to switch it to another day. And if it doesn't catch on by then, you might see it not even make it out for its whole season. You know, and if it does make it out to its whole season, don't expect a second season to get renewed at all, man. So there's nothing they can do with this now, man. Marvel and Studios and Disney did this on purpose. This probably cost them $10 to $15 million to make, and whatever other costs for advertising and licenses fees. I don't know what else there is, but I'm sure that it's a little more than 10 to 15 million when it comes down to it. Even if it's $30 million they spent on this thing, totally everything, pre-production cost or post-production cost, it's a drop in the bucket to Marvel and Disney, man. It's nothing to them to lose 20, 30 million, to shut up those fans who might complain and say, yo, that's not fair. You were supposed to give us an Inhumans movie, and now we're getting nothing. They're like, well, we gave you a show. You guys didn't turn out. The fans didn't turn out. Somehow they'll switch this on the fans, guys, and say that we didn't back that project. We didn't give it a chance. We had so many cool ideas we wanted to do with that show. It's unfortunate that it had to go away like this. No, they're doing this on purpose, guys. They have no plans for the Inhumans. The Inhumans hasn't taken over like they thought it was going to take over. They thought they were going to give this a big push in the comic books, showcasing some of their prominent members like Black Bolt, Medusa, Crystal, having her get tied into the Kree more, and her marrying Ronan the Accuser. Even though they had a good run in War of Kings and also Secret Wars, it just wasn't enough to catapult them to the top to take over the X-Men spot in the Marvel comic book universe. X-Men are still beloved, they're still popular. Even for us guys who don't even buy it that hard, buy their comic books that hard, we still have a love and respect for those characters. They definitely do. And X-Men fans too, who mostly are invested in the X-Men world, still have a respect for the regular capes and superheroes on the other side. There's a mutual respect on both sides, guys, man. We need them just as much as they need us. And I enjoy Marvel Universe, comic book universe, being that expansive. But back to the Inhumans, man. Just Marvel and Disney, man, just have this business model is we want to bring in characters and bring in movie pieces that are going to be cheaper to cost. But since there's so many loyalists, and we have such a big fan base, so many consumers, that we're going to profit more at the very end. They're going to see every single project we put out, no matter what. And I think that's true. I mean, even when it comes down to the Netflix series, a lot of us watched it. We even watched the ones we didn't like, man. Some people didn't like Luke Cage. A lot of us didn't like Iron Fist at all. And some of us are just barely enjoying the Defenders. But you notice there hasn't been no real talk about the Defenders right now. It's been very quiet because it has been a lackluster season. And my review is coming on that. It was a lackluster, and it's just the doom of, I think, Marvel shows on television, man. There hasn't been anything good. Maybe Fox might be able to do something on their end since they have a lot of rights to some of the mutants, and they work something out with Marvel that, they're gifted might, I don't know, man. It might be a surprise, man. A surprise hit. I'm willing to give that a shot. And already people are talking about Legion. It wasn't that bad. I only caught the episodes, but so far I like it. Especially if you do a little research and homework on the character and get yourself ready for the show. You know what to expect, and I think that's what helped me out going back on Marvel Unlimited subscription and reading up on Legion, and it made me enjoy the show a lot better, man. And I did like it. I was actually a surprise hit right there. But the Inhumans were destined to fail, man. Just them looking, even though the director said it, and I don't even blame him because he knows what he's capable of doing. And if Marvel wants to keep giving him movies, or TV shows to work on, of course he's gonna take that check, man. Who wouldn't do that, man? It's good to have on your resume that, like, I worked for Marvel Studios and Disney, man. So and plus he said that they asked him, we need somebody who can make a movie cheap and fast, man. So when you want to make it cheap and fast, this is what you're gonna get, man. Very few can work under those type of pressure and give us a decent product. But this one here, it didn't work. They needed more time to flesh this out and come with a coherent storyline. And so, yeah, man, that's their fault, man. I'm not gonna go see it in the IMAX. I'll wait till it's on ABC coming up in a little bit, and I'll give it a shot, man. I'll give the 2 episode premiere a shot and see what I think. But I already have a feeling. I already know. I like one thing I already predicted. They already said Medusa. Spoiler alert, turn away or fast forward if you don't want to hear this, that Medusa gets her hair cut in like the first episode. So that tells you how cheap Marvel Studios and ABC are getting with this project right here. They didn't want to have to deal with that CGI right there. And I knew that. Guys, if you go listen to my other episodes talking about this ABC Inhumans, talking about the early reviews are in on it, I brought this up before it was even released, that I can tell where they were going with this. They didn't want to deal with the extra cost, that they were going to have to do something with Medusa's hair. If they weren't going to do anything with Medusa's hair, we were going to barely see Medusa. That's one of her powers, man, is her hair. It's her power, is her hair, actually, man. So, and them cutting it off, like, what is left for her? What's left for her? It's just like, oh my God, man. And one thing I wasn't happy about seeing the trailers, I seen a bunch of Inhumans rocking laser guns. I mean, that's when I knew it was going to be cheap. I see from that little scene right there, when I seen them all surround Black Bolt with guns, I knew what we were getting. I knew it. They were getting cheap. The Inhumans all have their own powers. So I was hoping that we were going to see a bunch of guards with their own type of power set to see what the Terrigen Mist did for them. Nope, they seem like they don't even have powers. They're using the laser guns. And if they did have powers, they're not going to show it because they don't have money for it to show it, man. Oh my God, man. So, all right, guys, but I'm saying you guys should pass on the Inhumans. I don't think we should even give it a chance, to be honest with you. Why spike their ratings? We're just going in so everybody can just see a dying ship sink, to be honest with you, man. We got to let them know we don't want this type of shit. Even though I understand that they did this on purpose. They're expecting to lose money on this, but it's nothing to their bottom line. They're still making money hands over fists, man. So that's just the way the business works, guys. All right, guys, moving on, man. We're going to talk a little bit about Ant-Man 2 and why do we need an Ant-Man 2? To be honest with you, they can add the Wasp name on it. Doesn't make me want to see it, man. That's never been a character that I've been that thrilled about, especially this character. I like Hank Pym. I do like Hank Pym. I wish we got to see him in his younger years as Yellow Jacket, to be honest with you, man. Or I might have just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I just felt like there's better characters out there that deserve a movie. I just don't think Ant-Man deserved it. I understand what they were trying to do. They were trying to release a movie that didn't cost that much and still, make a sizable return. And they did, hands over fist. Once again, they profited heavy off of Ant-Man. And Ant-Man was so overrated. Those jokes were so forced. It was so rated PG, man. Too much PG, man. I would have preferred if it was a stronger PG-13. Did they have one moment it was? Yes, whenever he did to the horse to make it shrink down or something, before it exploded or whatever, man. But that was like really it, and that was just pushing the edge of PG-13, man. I just don't think Ant-Man's that cool of a character that deserves a solo film. I don't mind him making a cameo in movies. Not at all, man. I would love every Marvel superhero or villain eventually to make a cameo or have their own movie at some point. But I just think Ant-Man 2 was just a wasted slot that we could have got something more iconic or something that we just haven't seen before. And an idea I had, like, why couldn't we see a Wonder Man movie? to be honest with you, man. I mean, he's been an Avenger for a long time. His attitude now is he doesn't fight. He doesn't fight. He'll disarm people. He'll come up with creative ways of how to handle a situation where actually have to actually punch somebody, kick somebody, shoot his energy blast at them, you know what I mean, or cause total amounts of destruction, man. And I think that's a cool character they could actually bring in, man. I mean, they don't even have to even go with that newer version of him acting like that. If they want to go back to where he's letting loose like Iron Man and Thor, then by all means, go ahead. I would be happy with that too. I just think Wonder Man deserves a movie over Ant-Man 2 and the Wasp, man, to be honest with you, man. I don't know, man. It's just like they don't listen to us at all, man. It's like they're not even trying to dig in the crates. It's like they're not even trying to come up with fresh ideas, to be honest with you, man. Like, I feel like every major event that Marvel Comics made in the last 5 to 6 years is like what was going to be they're going to borrow from for the rest of their movies. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, man. The last 5 or 6 years, Marvel Comics has released a certain type of mini event, some storylines that just didn't work, but I feel like those are what they're borrowing off of, you know, for their movies now, man. It's just, to me, that's a shame because a lot of the older stories are better, to be honest with you, man. Like, just like with this Avengers War, Infinity Wars, man. To me, this is pulling off of more of the Infinity series that dropped a couple years ago, man. Like, I figured they would go further back and we would see the Infinity Gauntlet and the Infinity Crusades, that era of Ron Lim when he was drawing the Silver Surfer, borrowing heavy from that time period when comic books were great, when Marvel was at their fucking peak. But it seems like they want to borrow heavily from the last 5-6 years from all the comic books that they've written. So that's why you start knowing Greg Pak is getting credit for, you know, for his writing for Planet Hulk, for the animated series. You know, Mark Waid will end up getting some credit for a few of his stories. There's a lot of comic book writers who are starting to get credit now that they're borrowing from their newer work that they put out in the last few years, man. So, but I just don't believe Ant-Man deserves a movie, to be honest with you, man. Honestly, he doesn't even have an interesting rogue gallery. I don't know who they're gonna pull out of their hats right now, to be honest with you, man, to give us as the main villain. I don't know. Maybe Yellow Jacket again. I don't know, man. I have no idea. I don't know how this. Honestly, I just don't think the comedy is that good. And I didn't even think he was that good in Civil War, to be honest with you, man. He had a few little quirky moments where I thought, okay, cool, but not enough to, I wouldn't, if he was never in the movie, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't have cared. I wouldn't be like, man, you know what was missing? Ant-Man. And, you know, he's just one of those forgettable characters, man. But I think Marvel just needs to dig deeper into their crates and pull out some of those more iconic characters. I think Wonder Man is more iconic than Ant-Man, to be honest with you. But once again, he might be too costly for them because he has ionic energy base. His energy is based off of ionics, you know, ions or whatever. So they might not want to have a guy that can shoot, you know, from his eyes and shoot energy blasts, and maybe they're just holding that off for Captain Marvel because we honestly haven't seen that a lot from anybody, shoot energy blasts from their hands, man. Let's be honest, man. Marvel Studios universe has been very bland when it comes to certain aspects, and I'm used to seeing in the comic books, like energy blast, you know, more magic going on. Doctor Strange has a little bit going on over there, but I don't know, man. I guess you can call it magic, but I just wanted him to be deeper in mysticism and magic and supernatural stuff, man. You know, and it just, to me, I hope maybe Doctor Strange 2, they might get deeper into that. But what's left for Ant-Man 2? What can they really do? What could be interesting about Ant-Man and the Wasp? To be honest with you, man, I felt like maybe Ant-Man deserved to be an ABC TV series, to be honest with you, man. I think instead of the Inhumans having an ABC TV series, I think the Inhumans should have got a movie, and Ant-Man should have went straight to TV and had his own little TV series. I think that would work better there, you know, give it a good story, you know, with a little cheaper CGI, you know, and they don't need to show it all the time either. So, I don't know. To me, I think that would have worked, you know, reverse those, man. But also, I still think Wonder Man deserves a movie, man. Especially his relationship with the Scarlet Witch. I think they could capitalize on that. I just don't know why we haven't seen him yet. I don't want to wait till Phase 7, Phase 8 to see these things that we should have already seen already. I mean, is there a problem with Wonder Man? I'm assuming they have the rights to this guy. I mean, he's not a mutant. You know, I don't think they sold this to anybody. So I'm assuming that they have the rights to this character. And I don't know why they're not using him, man. I really don't. I think everybody who's an Avenger fan before the movies respect Wonder Man. He is an Avenger, man. He's one of the originals. He's not the trifecta of Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor, but he's been with the Avengers since I was a kid, man. So I just think that he deserves it, man. Give him a movie. Give him a solo movie, or he needs a cameo somewhere in Marvel Studios. All right, guys, man, moving on. This is one of my main topics right here I want to discuss, man. And since this movie has made so much money, I think it might be a little easier for people to finally digest this theory of mine. All right, man. How can I just say this, man? Wonder Woman was set up to win, but Wonder Woman is an overrated movie. I hope you guys are keeping up with me on this. Wonder Woman was set up to win due to the social climate at the time, but Wonder Woman is a over-exaggerated movie on how good it is. Do I believe it's a good film? Yes, it's a good film. Is it the best DCEU film out there? No, it's not. It's not. Is there classic, memorable scenes in the movie? Yes, but it's all at the beginning. It's all when she's a little kid, growing up and learning how to fight. That was the best part of the movie, guys. And a lot of people will agree with me on this. I felt when she made it to the States, well, she didn't go to the States, when she made it to Europe, I just thought the movie slowed down a bit. Were there some entertaining moments? Yeah, they were, but there wasn't no real deep dialogue. I wasn't like sold on Wonder Woman and the other guy's relationship, man. You know, I think she respected him and cared for him, but I thought they rushed the love part a little too quickly, to be honest with you, man. I think they should have been more better as friends than this thing like, okay, that's kind of my soulmate lover thing that they gave us, man. And I also thought the Ares fight was very underwhelming. I was happy that Ares showed up. I was happy to see the armor, but I just thought that the fight scene wasn't on par with the Man of Steel fight scenes when Superman's battling Zod twice, when he battled the other Kryptonians in Smallville. I felt that those fight scenes were far superior than any fight scenes in Wonder Woman right there. Now, okay, I understand some of you guys say, well, you don't need fight scenes to make a great movie. Understandable. And there are movies like that you don't need to. But when it comes like dramas, suspense thrillers, romantic movies, I understand you don't need a whole lot of crazy fighting in those to tell a good story for that type of movie. But when it comes to comic book action movies, yes, the action has to match it has to match, man. I just don't understand how people gloss over the fact that fight was so underwhelming. And yes, did I like the part where she was fighting all those soldiers and manhandle quick? Yes, I expected her to be able to do that, to be honest with you, man. I don't look at that like that was an amazing fucking scene. I look at that different than how I look at the Batman warehouse scene, man. Batman is still immortal. Yes, he's at top peak condition, but Batman is still immortal. So him fighting those guys, to me, was more suspenseful because he could actually get hurt. He could die if he makes the wrong moves. But Wonder Woman going against those soldiers, there was nothing on that airport landing strip that could hurt her. There's no weaponry that they've had so far, that they've shown so far, that could hurt her. So when they showed that big scene, I wasn't so wowed about it. That's what I expected to see out of her, and I felt like that, I felt like that landing strip scene when she's tossing all the soldiers around was better than her actual fight scene with Ares. And that's just the way I feel about it, man. And do I think it had a good storyline from beginning to end? I don't think so. I think the beginning was the best part of the movie, action-wise and with dialogue. I felt for it. Like just everything they had going for it, the musical score that was in the background, the camaraderie between the Amazonians and each other. I wanted more of that. I wish kind of like she didn't even go to Europe, to be honest with you, man. I wish they set that up for Wonder Woman 2, that we got to see more of her just on that island. I think there was enough adventure and enough lore and just enough to keep her on that island to make things interesting, man, to be honest with you, man. They could have spent 30 minutes if they wanted to with her just as a little girl. I think a lot of us liked her when she was very young like that. I wouldn't have been unhappy about it. Like, what? I wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have been. I think they could have stretched it to 30 to 40 minutes of her just being a little, then a teenager. Then maybe near the end we seen her as more of an adult. You know what I mean? And didn't getting more ready and getting more training. But that's just me, man. I just felt it was underwhelming fight scenes. I felt like the middle of the movie was dragging, and I felt the ending wasn't what we deserved or what I wanted, to be honest with you, man. So, but I still think Man of Steel is a better movie. I think Wonder Woman is the second best DCEU movie, but Man of Steel, to me, by far is the better movie. I still think that they had more moments in there that was more emotional and touching, spread out through the whole movie, to be honest with you, man. But they both do a good job when they show them as kids. You know, I did connect with Man of Steel and Wonder Woman when it came to those flashbacks of them being younger, you know, so they did do a good job on that, man. Wonder Woman is not a bad movie at all. I just think it was overhyped and over-exaggerated on how good of a movie it was. Is it better than a lot of the Marvel Studio movies? I think so, to be honest with you. Is Wonder Woman better than Spider-Man Homecoming? Yeah, by leaps and bounds, to be honest with you, man. If I had to choose to watch those movies after already seeing them, again, to see which one I would watch twice in a row, I would pick Wonder Woman to watch twice in a row versus Spider-Man Homecoming twice in a row. So, but that's just me, guys, man. But all right, guys, man, thank you for listening in, man. You guys have a good day, man. And my hearts go out to all you guys in Texas, man. I hope you guys get through that tragedy. All right, peace.